Whew, breathe. Hello, everyone. It is Michael here reporting live from Dalat, Vietnam, up in the beautiful mountainous region here. And I am just so grateful to be recording this message after a very successful 2 weeks of doing the Actuality Abroad January to February 2026 documentary outreach program in Ho Chi Minh City, a city that is just hustle, bustle, go, go, go. But regardless of that, I found so many beautiful places, little spaces, and obviously some very inspirational people, not only our local change makers, but also our very talented 11 participants on this particular program who really did work their tails off, particularly in that final editing week, to get the films out there to many smiling locals that were a part of these projects. Another week of me traveling around the country, getting to visit some of my beautiful contacts, people that I consider a family, a home away from home in Australia, the people in central Vietnam, in Hue specifically, both at the Friends of Hue Foundation and my Vietnamese host family. Incredibly grateful to spend some very high quality time with them. And so here, when I'm recording this in Dalat, I am finally settled for the next 4 days here amongst the mountains. It's a very calming, peaceful place. There's a beautiful little river that's running through this valley. The sun is just touching the very top of the mountains here at the moment, some scattered cloud and plenty of greenery. We are closing in on Tet, which is, of course, the welcoming of the new year here for 2026, the year of the horse. Plenty of red lining the streets here, lots of red lanterns and red little messages that are up in trees, lots of people buying and selling gifts. And the place is pretty much preparing for a very festive, couple of 2 weeks here in Vietnam, and of course other places around the world that are welcoming in the new year on the 17th of February. But for me, it's just kind of really cool to be able to witness all of this, to be in and around it, but also be in a very peaceful part of the country. Saigon, I love Saigon. I love the pace. I love the energy of that city. But, when you're working in that place for 2 weeks and our participants working there for an entire month, you are go, go, go. There's no stop. And so to be very intentional with my travel after that portion of my itinerary, to actually come to a place that's a lot more relaxed, that's definitely a lot more backseat driving, and just to be in this beautiful farm where I'm staying called Midori Heritage Coffee Farm, to be in and amongst the trees and to be definitely experiencing some local communities in the back roads has been really amazing. Literally yesterday, I had a dog from this property. I started walking. I just was following my nose, and this dog kind of ran ahead of me, and I could tell that the dog knew these parts pretty well. So I was kind of like, okay, I'm going to follow this dog. And so this dog is taking me, no joke, on the side of a mountain where there are crops and there's dirt, and I'm like trying to fight to keep my balance. And this dog is just, it's prancing around, so eloquently. And eventually the dog cuts inland into this beautiful, picturesque pine forest, and then takes me even further down the mountain out like a side gate, and then the valley just opens up, and it's just like such a picturesque view of part of the neighborhood that I'm in. But I wouldn't have been able to find that had it not been for this dog And had it not been for me actually going, you know what, this dog might know these parts, and actually having the willingness to go, I'm going to follow this animal that clearly knows more about this area than I do. And yeah, the result, well, some pretty picturesque views, an amazing experience, no doubt. And I think that a large part of my travels and maybe just my life in general is about finding things that are off the beaten track. And the only way that you can find those is by having the curiosity, um, then having the conviction to go, okay, I'm going to follow this particular direction, and then saying yes, being willing and able to kind of follow the stream that you're going down, and trusting that it'll take you to where you need to go. And there's no question that there's been countless occasions on this trip where I've chosen to do that. And I've been amazed and in general very surprised with what I've found. And whether it's a quiet little coffee spot, a little hidden away eatery, a pine forest, a little river inlet, a clothing store, whatever it may be, or a little community where all the locals are kind of huddled together, doing a communal activity. I've been very blessed that I've had that willingness to go out and to see it and to explore it and to trust it. And I've yeah, as I've said, been pleasantly surprised with what I've found, and I'm very grateful that this experience has allowed me to find so much, and be really grateful to really find it all has been, you know, part of the joy of the journey here in Vietnam. To backtrack a little bit, I guess last time I recorded one of these messages, we were very early days of my arrival in Vietnam and doing the Actuality Abroad program. I imagine what has happened since then has been the editing week, and the editing week was a lot of late nights, a lot of caffeine, a lot of supporting one group in particular that were a producer down, and I. Yeah, really, me and the editor Max, we really got to work, and yeah, we're pretty tireless in our efforts to kind of get the film sorted, whether it be text on screen, whether it be title cards, whether it be, you know, levels of polishing up certain components of the film, whether it be reshoots and redirects, and whether it just be as simple as trying to translate an English speaker who's from a Vietnamese background into Vietnamese so part of the audience on our screening night can understand it. I say simple. Far from that, quite difficult. In fact, all the groups, I think, encountered some levels of difficulty with translation one way or another. But I'm really proud of the three filmmaking groups that came together and made some very beautiful movies. And it's always in that final week of production, you're always a little bit unsure whether the films will get produced, will actually make it to the screening. They do. Robin Canfield, who runs the whole Actuality Abroad program, the co-founder, he makes sure they are shown. And so, you know, we all, Robin and I included, had to bunker down quite a bit to provide feedback for the films and to, you know, help a little bit more, give some more tailored support to some of the groups around certain elements of their film that they were finding difficult. And it isn't easy, you know. You do come across just natural challenges, especially when you're making a film in country in a different language. But I felt like we all came together really well. All the groups, yeah, produced some really beautiful projects, and you know, on the night was very, very special that we were all there together at one of the local eateries, cafes, restaurants, bars, and we're all there as a group together, and we're watching the films. And you know, Robin and I got up, spoke, and I guess shared our appreciation for you know, just how much we appreciate you know, the groups that allowed us to come together to film such a project. And yeah, no doubt that you know, we've had the success that we've had because everyone has worked so well together, and even though there might have been some times that are hard, and it happens on every single outreach program, this group was very resilient, and the films came out so well, and just very proud of everyone involved, and it was a very special night. I think one of the highlights of the screening of the documentaries is that you get to share them with the change makers, that you get to have those conversations with those local change makers that are so heavily involved in the films. And yeah, it was just really beautiful. Like while I was there on stage, just kind of looking around and seeing all the smiling faces, those welcoming smiles of people that are just so grateful that their stories have been featured in these documentaries, and that we have now enabled them to share their story, but more importantly, given them a platform where they can express the way that they feel, and obviously call out what needs to change, and that the films can turn into something that can hopefully support their work even more. So it's a very rewarding process, and I'm always reminded of, especially this time around, like I feel like in Mexico, for whatever reason, our groups were just, they were very self-assured with their edits, and they kind of knew what they needed to do. This time round, the groups were fantastic, but particularly with the project that I stepped into, they lost their producer, had to step away from the program right before the start of it, which meant that I stood into that role as producer for this particular group, and I helped tell their story, and was very actively involved in the production, and very actively involved in the post-production. So that did mean that, in that week when in Mexico I was kind of more an overseer of the stories. Yes, I did help a little bit with one-on-one editing, but primarily I was kind of, more of a bird's eye view of the projects as they evolved, and Robin and I would just give them advice. And this time round, it was very much in the bunkers. We were very heavily involved with the edit. And as a result, it meant that we were spending some pretty late nights in that final week, making sure that everything had been ticked off, and that were edited. And yeah, it was very rewarding being there on that screening night, knowing that had a very, very active role in the films that were showcased. So it's nice to sit back and to reflect the time with Actuality abroad. Another very successful outreach. We got to have a really nice group dinner on the final night at an Indian restaurant. And Robin likes to do these paper plate awards where whatever theme someone had during the trip, whether it was something funny that they did on a repetitive basis, or whether it was just a funny incident that happened that we kind of like to highlight in a very jovial and lighthearted way, or if someone's just got a very deep care and they've got a very strong character trait that's kind of beautiful, we like to highlight those in the Paper Plate Awards. So it was a really nice kind of great final group bonding session, and everyone was so. Yeah, it was just so happy that they had chosen this program. They were also very sad that it was over. A lot of people were quite saddened when they had to get their taxi to the airport. But it was just a really good group dynamic, and we were really grateful that everyone got to farewell the program in the right way on that final night. And it was just very nice to have been so involved in that whole process, as I've said before. Certainly excited for potential future outreaches, and to continue this great working relationship with Actuality abroad. I'm very grateful to Robin for continuing to believe in my skills as a storyteller and a documentary teacher and a mentor, and continuing to bring my skills and experiences on these outreach programs is a real blessing. I feel like I'm living like my dream life, and sort of the role that was made for me to support these documentary trips. And I'm certainly very excited to continue to collaborate and meet really fantastic storytellers, because everyone was on this trip for a reason. And you know that when you are introduced to these Actuality Abroad participants that you know that their hearts are in the right place, because you wouldn't travel so far and do an experience like this if your heart wasn't in the right place. And everyone on this trip has a really good sense of the importance of why they're making these films, and they understand that, you know, their heart has to be in the right place, because you've got to resonate with all of these incredible local change makers and be able to tell their stories in the most authentic way. And I really think that everyone on this trip was in this for the right reason. And you know, the proof is in the pudding. You do see that level of vulnerability, that level of relatability, and that level of emotional and cultural intelligence come through every single participant when they do embark and go about filming, editing, and then releasing these films to the participants, or to the social change makers themselves, but obviously to the greater public, and you know, some of the film festivals that will eventually see these films as well. So I think it was done definitely in the right way, and yeah, just very grateful that I was so involved in this trip. So it was beautiful. And then got to travel after the program was over from Saigon up to Da Nang, where I then took the train down to Hue. It is a crazy time of year here in Vietnam to travel. Things are very heavily booked out, transport included. The train, there was not a single seat available. It was very busy. It was very tight. The lady sitting next to me had 2 large boxes that she was balancing on her lap. People are traveling. People are taking and sending gifts, and people are there on the ground, and people are needing to get to their hometowns, which means a lot of travel around this time of the year is involved. So it was certainly interesting to kind of witness that. It was a really scenic train ride, lots of really high bridges and passes through you know, jungle and some amazing mountainous regions heading into Hue, and got to reconnect with my Vietnamese host family in Hue, which was a very memorable experience. I got to have a meal with them, and they were so generous. They just continued to give me plate after plate after plate, and the daughter of the host mother, she and her husband run a very successful cafe, and she was giving me all this freshly brewed coffee, grounded coffee bags, and little iced tea sachets, and little biscuits, seasonal biscuits for this year. I felt very grateful that they were just so generous. And then the following day, I got to go to the Friends of Hue Foundation, which is a place that I started volunteering at back in 2018. And it was an experience that absolutely changed my life for the better. Friends of Hue Foundation, it's very hard to put into words just how much this orphanage means to me. You know, the children that were there in 2018, you know, are now 18, 19 years old, and our friendships have kind of evolved. Went from me doing colouring books and doing drawings with them, and playing tag, you're it, and some soccer, to now going out to their favourite restaurants, going and having coffee at their favourite coffee shops, and then going and singing karaoke with them. The relationships and the friendships have certainly evolved, and I'm very, very grateful that I've just, you know, had so many blessings to not only return this one time, but to have also returned back in 2023, 6 years after doing my 3.5 weeks of volunteering there. I always find it very hard to say goodbye. I love them so much, and I'm so proud of them, and you know, they've came such a long way in their lives. A lot of them have made it into university and are studying degrees. Their English has improved out of sight, and you know, they still hold very close to their hearts the experiences that we all had together back in 2018. They still remember all the catchphrases we did, like whenever we eat some food, we go, "That's so, 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 so good." You know, they're they're beautiful. They're wonderful. They're a they're a they're a very important part of my life. They have just continued to really um, bless me in so many ways, and it's always very hard leaving the foundation. But every time I go there, I make new friends. It was just so wonderful to make a lot of new friends, but also reconnect with the director and reconnect with a lot of the staff that work at Friends of Hue Foundation, and some of the retired staff that came back just specifically to see me. I just felt so many blessings being back in Hue, and in particular the Friends of Hue Foundation. It was 6 years between 2018 and 2023 when I went back for the first time. Only 3 years this time to get back. I do hope it'll be less the next time round, but I am just so incredibly blessed and grateful to return to Friends of Hue Foundation, and I will never forget this time. It was very, very beautiful, and yeah, certainly won't be the last time I'll be going back there. They're a home away from home. They're beautiful, and I love them very, very much. So, 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 so good. Yeah. And then after that, I got to go to Hoi An. Another beautiful part of being in Vietnam for the fourth time is always going to the city that has such a beautiful aura about it. There's beautiful lanterns out always. The streets filled with vendors and beautiful like jacaranda trees, and just very colourful, very historic city. So it was nice to get back to Hoi An. Part of the reason why I went back to Hoi An was because a person that I consider my Vietnamese sister, Sue, was there. She was the person that ran the tour that my dad, my grandfather, and I did all the way back in 2017 when we first came to Vietnam. She took our friendship to another level. She's just so generous and kind, and she really does love us, and she continues to joke with us and share her heart and her story. And I'm just so grateful that we know Sue. She's a very strong part of our family, and she has always been our tour guide when we've came to Vietnam, when we came back in 2018, when we came again in 2023. We've always made the effort to catch up with Sue. She is family. Like my beautiful host mother, Tuet, she is also family, and I love all of these people so much. So I make a very pointed effort to spend time with them. And so for Sue, she was running a tour this time round with V Explore in Hoi An, but we did get time to catch up, and that time was very, very sacred. So it was beautiful to be able to go and spend some time with her there. It was beautiful. So right now, I'm in Dalat. I am staying, as I said, on a coffee farm. I will be doing a coffee tour, I believe, tomorrow. So I'm very excited for that. In general, I'm in quite a remote area up in the mountains. The nights do get very cold, but the stars at night are spectacular. And just walking around in this local area in Dalat, you do meet a lot of beautiful locals. You get to go off beaten tracks, whether a dog is guiding you or not. You do get to experience a lot of really rural areas here, and it's so nice to be able to meet so many beautiful people out here, and I do genuinely love it. Because things are all so far away, you have to be quite strategic with sort of how you plan out your days. And so I'm kind of enjoying that challenge. I'm enjoying being able to go out and explore different areas, and and get to meet the locals and try the local cuisines and try the local customs. You know, the Dalat town is still about an hour away, so it's not exactly close. But at the same time, I kind of found ways to sort of get around efficiently and you know, and see different parts of Dalat. So I will go into town at some point soon. Maybe for the Tet celebrations, I'll be in town. I'm also definitely going to experience some of the local waterfalls and local lake areas. And there's many different farms around here as well, which are definitely worth exploring. But in general, it's just so wonderful to be in a new region of Vietnam, a place I've never been to before on my previous 3 visits out to Vietnam. Um, you know, a really important thing that I wanted to do when I finished the Actuality Abroad program was have some time off, and I've had beautiful, you know, family time, seeing people that I know so well here in Vietnam, and now I think it's, you know, it's time to relax and enjoy the outdoors, enjoy the luscious mountainsides, beautiful scenery, delicious coffee, really organic food from the land, and continue to meet really aligned environmental people as well, who I've came across a lot being out in the mountainside here. But in general, thank you to you for listening to this. I know that, you know, I put a lot of time and energy and enthusiasm, but also a lot of heart into all of these into all of these podcast vlogs, and for me, it means a lot that I can have an outlet to sort of express all of the exciting things that I'm doing, and you know, being here in Vietnam at this time is really, really awesome to get this perspective. And Tet is a time where people come together and celebrate officially for them going into 2026 and celebrating the Year of the Horse. And so to almost have 2 New Year's celebrations for myself is pretty cool, pretty unique, and maybe I'll be celebrating Tet from now on. But I'm very grateful to be here. It's just such a beautiful part of the world, and to be having all of the authentic experiences that I'm having, and to be living like a local is an experience that sometimes you have to go a little bit out of your comfort zone and a little bit out of where a lot of the mainstream tourists go in order to get that. And I've certainly done that staying on this organic coffee farm, but I wouldn't have it any other way. It's an amazing experience, and yeah, I'm very, very grateful to be here. But just in general, super duper blessed to be here, to be having this experience, and I'm very much looking forward to some of the adventures that I'll go on next. But for now, love to you all. Thank you for watching this video, for listening to this podcast, and Gamun. I am very, 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 very blessed, and yeah, excited to talk again soon. Cheers.